Live from the Aristides Lounge, it's time for the Longines Kentucky Oaks Draw Show, the 145th Lilies for the Phillies. Joe Christopak alongside Brandon Staubel, and yes, just moments away from the Kentucky Oaks draw. And Brandon, there's no doubt that we have a defined favorite this year, the Queen of California, Fina.
Yeah, Fina, 6-for-8 lifetime, $800,000 purchase. We're very interested to see if it's the track, because last time she was here, fourth in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. She came back to win, but she's getting back to Churchill in the biggest race of her career.
Yeah, undefeated as a 3-year-old, and she did finish fourth in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies as a 9-5 favorite, but she seems to be bigger, stronger, faster, and more professional this year. Fina will be the favorite in this year's Kentucky Oaks. We have the third member of our team, Ed DeRosa, standing by with a very special guest. Ed?
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, alongside trainer Tom Vanberg, who's about to get the post position for his Motion Emotion. And Tom, she has been on the lead in 2 runner-up finishes. We expecting more of the same in the Oaks, or are you going to have her relax a little bit?
Actually, we've been training her for about a month and a half to relax and come from off the pace. And in both races, she just broke so sharply that she inherited the lead and then got kind of pushed early. So she can go to the front if she needs to. I think there's so much pace in this race that I think we'll be fine sitting behind horses with Serengeti Empress. And there's quite an abundance of speed, so she'll be able to sit just as long as she gets a clean break and gets out of there. And with a little racing luck, she'll be in a good position to pounce on the leaders if she needs to.
Certainly expecting the post position to be a part of that racing luck. Have you thought about where you're hoping she draws in a few minutes?
Somewhere in the middle is fine. Anywhere from 3 to 8, 3 to 9. I think if she can make her own spot. She's got great gate speed. She's got a high cruising speed, so if she can just get out of there clean, will be good. If you're down too close, you're forced to go. If you're out too far, you kind of get hung out there. So if we get a decent middle post somewhere, I think she'll be able to create her own position, and Mike will be able to get her where he wants her.
2 runners-up finishes, Chocolate Kisses and Lady Apple, last 2 out. She's shown you she can turn the tables in her last few weeks of training.
Oh, I've never wavered in her confidence in her. She does everything right. It's just unfortunate that the speed got to her a couple times, and I think now that Mike has ridden her time, he knows kind of how fast they're going. She's kind of deceiving with her stride and her speed. Both of them came back and didn't realize they were going kind of the pace they were going. And so I think now with a ride under her, in one time on her, and he can jump on her now and know exactly where he's sitting and what he has. And I think he's dialed in. She's dialed in for sure.
Your family no stranger to success here at Churchill Downs, and you won a race on the Breeders' Cup undercard. What would it mean to add the Oaks to your family's legacy?
It would be I can't even describe it. It would be neat to hand an Oaks sign up to Dad's Derby sign on the barn. So, hopefully get some beginner's luck. It might not be, it might be a long time before we get another chance. So you always want to take the best opportunity you can, the best shot you can, and the filly's doing exceptionally well. So with a little racing luck, we'll be in good shape.
Sounds good. Really appreciate your time. Wish you a lot of luck in a few days. Back to you, Joe and Brandon.
Well, thanks, Ed and Tom. Tom's Hall of Fame father, Jack Vanberg, won the 1987 Kentucky Derby with Ali Sheba. Without further ado, let's take a look at the 16 horses. 14 will draw into the body of the race for the 145th running of the Longines Kentucky Oaks. Brandon, and a nice field here. 2 horses on the outside looking in. They will be also eligibles.
Yeah, and one thing we start to talk about is the pace. We'll see more conversation with that once the posts are drawn, but we've got a lot of speed in here, in my opinion, and horses like Fina, out for a spin, Leora, plenty of speed in here, Serengeti Empress, so interested to see how this post draw shapes up the pace scenario.
No doubt we're going to draw 7, then we're going to draw another 7. We'll have a little bit of a break in between. Let's take a look at some of the contenders. We already discussed briefly the merits of Fina, the likely favorite. She's 3 for 3 this year. Last seen winning the Santa Anita Oaks, and doing so in devastating fashion, I would venture to say.
Yeah, Fina was seen here on the outside. She had stuck behind a couple of horses early on, and she's got speed, Joe, but she showed the ability to rate just like she did here. You can see Flora de Lamar on the inside starting to tire a little bit, and Fina finally switches leads and then starts to extend the lead late. We don't know how deep this field was, but Fina did everything she needed to do here, Joe, to give us a good impression coming into the Oaks.
Yeah, Flora de Lamar finishes second. She's got a good view of Fina's heels right here, trained by Simon Callahan. But Bob Baffert, a 3-time winner of the Kentucky Oaks, most recently with Abel Tasman in 2017, the trainer of Flor de la Mar. We're going to take a look next at the Ashland Stakes from Keeneland, and there was an upset winner in this one. You see Jaywalk on the lead here, out for a spin, getting a perfect pressing trip, and Restless Rider ranging up 3 wide. Brandon?
Yeah, Restless Rider had to be caught a little wide in here, maybe move a little early. You can see Jaywalk starting to be pushed on. Jaywalk's going to fade, and out for a spin, very game down the lane, Joe. Once out for a spin takes over the lead from Jaywalk, also was able to fend off Restless Rider, which was very nice and showed a little gameness as well.
Yeah, out for a spin at 52 to 1 is going to take over from Jaywalk at the top of the stretch and hold off Restless Rider. And Brandon, Restless Rider, no excuses here. She's got dead aim. She hung a little bit in the stretch, kind of like she did in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies.
Yeah, would have liked to seen her drop her head a little more and really extend that lead, but out for a spin, very game in here. Questions with Restless Rider whether or not the increase in distance also is going to help her.
Yeah, it was a good performance there. We'll see if she can repeat it out for a spin. Of course, a victory in the Kentucky Oaks with lemons forever on the resume of trainer Dallas Stewart. Now, Fairgrounds has always been a hotbed for Kentucky Oaks contenders and winners. And this year, I don't think is any exception. Serengeti Empress, the winner of the Rachel Alexandra and Rachel Alexandra-like fashion. Leora, another Kentucky Oaks competitor, is going to chase her, but it's a futile chase down the stretch.
Yeah, we all know she has natural speed, but there was no real speed signed on in this race. They went ahead and went to the lead. She extended, and she looked awesome in this race. I mean, she really extended that lead, and just there was no match from anybody. You can see Leora on the wrong lead there, but Serengeti Empress super impressive in this race.
She had won the Pocahontas at Churchill in a public workout by 19 lengths earlier on in her 2-year-old year, and Serengeti Empress dominant in the Rachel Alexandra, which set her up to be the 1-5 favorite in the Fairgrounds Oaks. Brandon, didn't go the same way for trainer Tom Amos with Serengeti Empress that day, as we're going to take a look back at that race. Yes, she's on the lead, but that's not where she finishes.
No, she had some breathing issues and ended up fading to the back of the pack. On the rail in the white blinkers, you can see Street Band, and you can see also in the blinkers passing Serengeti Empress at this time was Leora, and Leora looked like a winner turn for home, Joe. Really thought that she was going to draw off, but Street Band and Sophie Doyle actually ended up running this horse down and extending the lead late. We all know what Larry Jones can do with fillies, Joe. I think 3 times now he's won the Oaks.
3-time Kentucky Oaks winner, 2015 Lovely Maria, 2012 Believe You Can, 2008 Proud Spell, and Sophie Doyle aboard Street Band here in a breakthrough performance as she draws away in the end in the Fairgrounds Oaks. Serengeti Empress, the 1-5 favorite. But Brandon, the thing about Serengeti Empress is she has trained very well since that debacle in the Fairgrounds Oaks. She had a really fast workout just the other day. She seems to be coming back to herself once again.
Yeah, she's just fast naturally. I mean, she's always trained like that, but it was nice too to see in that last workout her sit off of a horse. She's done it before. We know she can do it in the morning. Hasn't really been able to experiment with it so much. You know, we talked about the Rachel Alexandra. There wasn't a lot of pace in there. You can't really take her back. If there's, no speed in the race, she has to go. But if she draws an outside post here, I think she can rate. It's just whether if she's good enough to win this or not.
Now, horses develop oftentimes from their 2-year-old year to their 3-year-old year. And a perfect example of that is Champagne Anyone. She was a nice little filly here on the grounds at Churchill Downs as a 2-year-old, but boy, has she blossomed at age 3. And she kind of had a coming out party of sorts, Brandon, in the Gulfstream Park Oaks. We see her on the outside about to take over.
Yeah, added blinkers for the first time in here, took over the lead, and just kind of a little bit of a grinding effort, but you'd like to see the toughness, the fightness that this one has shown, and increase in distance shouldn't bother this one. Nice little run from the Chad Brown trainee that's on the AE list currently, but was able to hold that one off.
All right, so that's a look at Champagne Anyone for trainer Ian Wilkes and son-in-law rider Chris Landeros. Ed DeRosa with another special guest standing by. Ed?
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, alongside Mark Cassie, trainer of Chocolate Kisses. Mark, we heard Tom Vanberg talk about his strategy with Motion Emotion, and you've been pretty forward this week about changing things up from the Ashland with Chocolate Kisses.
Yeah, I think I messed that one up. She was successful coming from way out of it, and we felt like the Keeneland was so biased to speed that I asked Tyler to try to keep her closer, and and it was a mistake. So we're not going to do that again.
And you are expecting some speed in here with the aforementioned Motion to Motion, Serengeti Empress, et cetera?
You know, it's funny because it looks like some serious speed, but every time you see that something, I mean, then it'll be the slowest pace. But we're hoping everybody plays to their form and big speed duel, and we can come running. This filly loves Churchill Downs. Probably trained as good as I've ever seen her train this morning, so she's ready.
And with that running style, is post not as much an issue with taking her back?
Post means nothing for us because we're going back to the back of the caboose. In the caboose.
Yeah. Last year, you looked a winner at the 8th pole with Wonder Girl. Went on to a very productive year. But did you think you were watching the winner down the stretch last year?
I did. I did.
Yeah. Well, maybe this year you'll be the one running to catch the leaders.
We'll be, she'll be running. She'll try hard, and it would be nice for Mrs. Oxley.
Very good. Thanks, Mark. Back to you, Joe and Brandon.
Well, thanks, Ed. And Chocolate Kisses, there's no question what her best running style is. She's going to be running from off the pace. We've talked about, based on the names we've seen in this year's Kentucky Oaks, that the pace should be honest and then some.
Yeah, and I was actually here on Saturday for the work for Chocolate Kisses, and very nice work in company, was on the outside. Now, she worked early. She didn't work during the Oaks Derby renovation, but the rider had a nice hold on her down the lane. She's ready to go.
Trainer Steve Asmussen has won the Kentucky Oaks a couple of different times, Untappable 2014, Summerly 2005, and this year he has Lady Apple, who has run very well as a 3-year-old. She's kind of coming into her own. We're going to take a look at the Fantasy Stakes from Oaklawn Park coming up next. And Brandon, Motion to Motion, Ed DeRosa talking to trainer Tom Vanberg earlier. She's on the lead here. Lady Apple sitting in the pocket, and you could tell she was loaded.
She was loaded. Love the confidence I heard earlier, too, from Tom Vanberg. Very confident with this filly. But Lady Apple on the inside, you like when you can see a little bit of grit, a little bit of fight. They have to squeeze through that rail. It gets a little tight there. Motion to Motion still trying to the wire, but Lady Apple showed a lot of fight in here, Joe. She's 3 for 3 this year. You talk about up-and-coming fillies. Lady Apple has to be one of them.
Lady Apple getting the job done there for trainer Steve Asmussen, as I mentioned, 2-time winner of the Kentucky Oaks. And the draw is just moments away. You can feel the anticipation in the room, and to explain how it works, let's send it back to Ed DeRosa.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, anyone who's been on social media knows how exciting these post draws are, and we're about to see it live here at Churchill Downs for the Kentucky Oaks. 14 pills go in, 14 entrants come out, but we do split it up. We'll draw our first 7 with Ben Huffman, then the next 7. When it's all said and done, we'll have 14 Kentucky Oaks entrants, and as you said at the top of the show, there are those 2 also eligibles as well, hoping to draw in if one of the 14 don't get in. But we're just minutes away. Again, 14 pills. We'll draw 7, then the next 7, and then we'll have the field for the 145th Kentucky Oaks.
Well, thanks, Ed. And post positions mean quite a bit to a lot of these trainers. If you have speed, you want to draw outside the other speed. So tactically, you would have a little bit of an advantage. You would think Serengeti Empress would want a little bit of a further outside post, motion to motion. Probably the same. Tom Vanberg said that motion to motion can rate. Tom Amos has said the same about Serengeti Empress, but he also said, try to run with us if you'd like to.
Right, and the break is always huge, Joe. I mean, we always know that things change out of the gate, but if you, with so much speed, what we think on paper lined up, if you're a pure speed horse and you're drawn to the outside, you always have that opportunity to be caught very wide, which could compromise your late chances.
And Bellafina's got good tactical speed from the gate. You know, she wants to be in a tracking position. She wants to have that catbird seat trip right behind the dueling leaders. If she gets put in that position based on her post position draw and run into the first turn, she's going to be doubly tough to beat.
Yeah, the versatility comes in big there, and that's why horses like Serengeti Empress and even Motion to Motion, who Tom talked about, can rate if they need her to.
Again, the Kentucky Oaks draw is just moments away. 14 horses in the body of the race. 2 also eligibles. Bellafina expected to be the Mike Battaglia morning line favorite and the post time favorite as well. We saw Champagne Champagne. Anyone. Yeah, I always think Champagne Problems.
There's
Another
so
one
many
of those
champagnes
horses.
out there.
Thanks for the assist on that. Champagne Problems, Champagne Anyone, Champagne Anyone, Champagne Problems. Exactly. Moving forward. But this is a horse that's really on the improve right now for Ian Wilkes. And you want a horse that's peaking on Kentucky Oaks Day. And, she has the benefit of being used to the Churchill Downs surroundings, and she couldn't be doing any better at this point.
Yeah, and I like the fight she showed last time. I also like, too, when horses make an equipment change and they seem to improve a little bit. You saw that focus, but she kept going to the wire, and I'm sure Ian was impressed with that. And she was closer to the pace. The pace was kind of soft, but she's the horse that doesn't need to be. She could be that mid-pack trip and maybe let the speed kind of duel, and then she could be there late.
What do you make of Jaywalk, who was so good as a 2-year-old last year and obviously winning the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies? She's in a position this year where she kind of needs to bounce back a little bit off of her first couple starts of her 3-year-old season.
Yeah, it seems like, especially with fillies, when they run so hard so early in the career and they come back, it's kind of tough for them to regain that form sometimes. And I think that's what we're seeing from Jaywalk. Her Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies was so big. I remember seeing her in the paddock. She looked fantastic, and she just hasn't come back to form, especially horses that show speed. And we need to see a rebound effort, Joe. 15-1, maybe something like that on the morning line, if I had to take a guess.
All right. Well, the post position draw is now just moments away. And to launch the proceedings, here is our bugler from Churchill Downs, Steve Buttleman. Steve?
Thank you, Steve Buttleman, track bugler for Churchill Downs. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Churchill Downs as we get set to draw the 145th Kentucky Oaks, taking place this Friday right here at Churchill Downs. Track announcer Travis Stone, happy to be here. It's an honor to be here, and as we roll into Derby Week, which is by far one of the most exciting and nerve-wracking weeks of the year, it's also a little bit of sadness. John Asher is no longer with us. This was a role that he filled for many years, so it's an honor for me to be able to fill it as well. But as we work our way through the week and we get excited about the big horse racing we're excited to see throughout the weekend, it's with heavy hearts a little bit that we remember John. And it's nice to walk around Churchill and everybody remembers stories about John and remember how John was such a pivotal role and a pivotal part of the Kentucky Derby. And if we could just take just an ounce of the spirit that he had for this horse race this weekend, I think we'll be in a better spot. So we just wish to remember John a little bit as we get ready to draw this race today and, of course, the Derby tomorrow and all of the racing all week long. So today it's the 145th Longines Kentucky Oaks. Purse is $1.25 million with a nice check for first of more than $705,000. It's going to be race 11 on Friday, post time approximately 6:12 p.m. If you can't be here at Churchill Downs, you can watch it on NBC SN. It's the 11th of 13 races on Friday. Full gate for the Kentucky Oaks this year, including 2 also eligibles. Scratch time for Oaks and Derby Day is Friday at 9 a.m. So we'll keep that in mind as you build your wagers and your tickets for this weekend. Joining me on stage this morning, I should say, is Kevin Flannery, who's president of Churchill Downs Racetrack. Come on up, Kevin. Justin Paul, who's vice president and associate general counsel for Churchill Downs. And Barbara Borden, who's the steward for Kentucky here at Churchill Downs. They will be presiding over the draw this morning. And on the table is Vice President of Racing Ben Huffman, who puts together the races we see here day in and day out at Churchill Downs. And to his left, your right, is Dan Bork, the Assistant Racing Secretary for Churchill Downs. Putting up the silks on the board is Katie Bouchard, Miss Kentucky, going to hang the silks for the 14 Kentucky Oaks fillies that we will draw right now. The way it works is Ben will pull out an entry sheet, and then Dan will pull out a pill, and the sheet and the pill correspond to the post position for Friday's Kentucky Oaks. We'll draw the first 7, take a little bit of a brief break, and draw the final 7 after that. And so with no further ado, send it over to Ben and Dan.
Okay, put in 14.
Number 9.
9, Leora, Channing Hill.
Leora, post number 9 with Channing Hill, of course, won the goldenrod here last year, the marquee race for 2-year-old fillies at Churchill. Number 9, Leora.
Number 11.
11, Geltrin, Luis Saez.
Geltrin, number 11, big long shot winner of the Devona Dale last time out at 50 to 1.
Number 1.
1, Out for a Spin, Irad Ortiz Jr.
Number 1 is Out for a Spin with Irad Ortiz Jr., trained by Dallas Stewart, another big long shot winner last time out.
Number 10.
10, Champagne Anyone, Chris Landeros.
Champagne Anyone was the winner of the Gulfstream Park Oaks last time, trained by local trainer Ian Wilkes with Chris Landeros.
Number 4.
4 is Bellafina, Flavian Pratt.
Bellafina, widely expected to be a prohibitive favorite in this Friday's Kentucky Oaks. She's won 3 races in a row. She lost to Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies last year. Had some trouble that day, though. Undefeated this year, Bellafina, number 4.
Number 8.
8, Motion Emotion, Mike Smith.
Motion Emotion is very fast. Expected to be on or near the lead with Tom Van Berg, the trainer.
Number 3.
3, Lady Apple, Ricardo Santana Jr.
Number 3 is Lady Apple, trained by Steve Asmussen, who, of course, has won the Kentucky Oaks before. Ricardo Santana Jr., one of the top riders here at Churchill Downs. Lady Apple, number 3 for the Kentucky Oaks. Those are the first 7. We'll take a brief break. We'll come back to draw the final 7 for Friday's Oaks.
Well, thanks, Travis. First 7 have been drawn, and we'll get some reaction from Brandon Staubel and Ed DeRosa. The first thing that stands out to me is Out for a Spin, drawing the rail with Irad Ortiz Jr. She's got speed. Looks like she's going to have to go.
Yeah, there's going to be no secret there. I think they're going to have to go ahead and get forward position. Showed good speed last time, has that fight. So kind of interesting. I think Tom Van Berg is the one celebrating a little bit right now. I mean, he wanted to draw on the outside or somewhat in the middle. That's a great post for Motion Emotion.
Right, and there's just 3 post positions further outside that Serengeti Empress can draw, 12, 13, and 14. And Bellafina drawing post position number 4, as Travis Stone mentioned, likely the odds-on favorite for the Kentucky Oaks, and she should be able to fall into a good trip going into that first turn if she breaks well.
Yeah, she should, and also take notice, too, Lady Apple, some horses like to be outside, some horses like to be inside. Lady Apple had no problem being on the inside last time. She's probably going to get a great ground-saving trip for Steve Asmussen, and we talked about her being an up-and-coming filly in here. I think she drew well also.
And Leora's got some tactical speed as well, so Wayne Catalano's got to be happy, you would guess, with post position number 9. He should be able to sit in a good stalking trip. Channing Hill should with Leora. And Champagne Anyone post position number 10, kind of a stalking type. She wants to try to avoid getting hung wide into that first turn.
I think that's exactly it. Going in that first turn, you're just going to try to tuck in and save as much ground as you can.
Geltrin drawing post position number 11 again. 7 of the 14 have been drawn. We've got 7 more to go. And Out for a Spin drawing the rail. Likely favorite there, Bellafina drawing post position number 4.
Yeah, and I think Bellafina with her natural speed, she should be able to secure a good spot like you talked about earlier. Especially, we'll see what happens with Serengeti Empress and Out for a Spin probably wanting to go. So I think the post is fine for her. I'm not really too concerned.
7 down, 7 to go. We'll send it back to the voice of Churchill Downs, Travis Stone, for the remainder of the 7 in the Kentucky Oaks draw. Travis?
And now we'll draw the final 7 for the full gate. Kentucky Oaks once again taking place on Friday. $1.25 million on the line for the Kentucky Oaks this year. 7 more to draw. Let's get to it.
Okay.
Number 2.
2, Chocolate Kisses, Julian LePeroux.
Chocolate Kisses, Julian LePeroux for trainer Mark Cassie. She's won on both surfaces before, but her biggest win to date, of course, was on the dirt. Chocolate Kisses, Julian LePeroux.
$13.
13, Serengeti Empress, Jose Ortiz.
Serengeti Empress Like many of the fillies in here, she's very fast, so there's a lot of early speed. She's a winner at Churchill Downs, expected to be on or near the lead with jockey Jose Ortiz for trainer Tom Amis.
Number 5.
5, Flor de la Mar, Joel Rosario.
Bob Baffert, a 3-time Kentucky Oaks winner, will saddle Flor de la Mar, who just got her career started in late January. Pretty lightly raced coming into the Kentucky Oaks this year for Joel Rosario.
Number 6.
6, Positive Spirit, Manny Franco.
Manny Franco will ride Positive Spirit for relatively young trainer Rudolph Merced, who just started training back in 2017. Positive Spirit does have a win at Churchill Downs. She won the Grade 2 Demoiselle at Aqueduct last year. That is Positive Spirit with Manny Franco.
Number 12.
12 is Street Band, Sophie Doyle.
Sophie Doyle will ride number 12, Street Band, for trainer Larry Jones, the Fairgrounds Oaks winner. Larry Jones is a 3-time Kentucky Oaks winner. He last won in 2015 with Lovely Maria. That's Street Band with Sophie Doyle.
Number 7.
7 is Jaywalk, Javier Castellano.
Jaywalk with Javier Castellano, number 7 for the Kentucky Oaks, of course, was last year's Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies winner. She hasn't quite found that form yet this year, but they've said that they're pointing for the Kentucky Oaks as we'd expect. Of course, John Service won the Kentucky Oaks with Catherine Sophia, and he's also a Derby winning trainer. That is Jaywalk, number 7.
14.
14 is Restless Rider, Bryan Hernandez Jr.
Restless Rider has never been worse than second in all 7 of her career starts. Bryan Hernandez Jr. knows Churchill Downs pretty well. She's a Grade 1 winner. She won a Grade 1 at the age of 2. Restless Rider has drawn post 14 for Friday's Kentucky Oaks. Take a brief break. That is the field. Once again, more than $1.25 million on the line in the Kentucky Oaks on Friday. We'll take a brief break, come back, and we'll get Mike Battaglia's morning line odds for Friday's Oaks. And don't forget, there's also 2 also eligibles, which they don't have to have the pill pull because they're on the AE list, 15 Dunbar Road and 16 Point of Honor in this year's Kentucky Oaks. Dunbar Road, for those of you taking notes, Jose Ortiz listed, Johnny Velasquez on 16 Point of Honor. They can only draw into the Oaks should there be a scratch. Once again, scratch time is Friday at 9 a.m. We'll be back with the morning line odds after this.
Serengeti Empress, the likely pace setter, drawing post position number 13. The other speed, Brandon, inside of her, obviously Jaywalk. We talked about motion to motion as well. Serengeti Empress could probably just break away from there and let the race kind of fall to her into that first turn. But, you know, if he has his choice, he wants to be on the lead, and they want him to be going slow up front, which I don't think is going to happen.
No, I don't think it's going to happen at all. But I think she's going to get what I like to call the options trip. So she's going to break. If no one goes to the lead, she can take it, but they have no problem taking a chance and sitting off the pace.
Street Band drawing post position number 12. That one has to avoid being hung wide into the first turn, as does Restless Rider from 14. Kind of tricky trips there potentially for 2 horses that kind of like to be forwardly placed but more in a stalking position. Wide first turn could be detrimental.
Yeah, similar to Champagne Anyone, Restless Rider, a runner with a little bit of tactical foot, but they're going to have to figure out how to save ground going into that first turn. That's going to be big. Street Band, a horse I'm a little interested in. 12 post, not ideal, but just a little bit of tactical speed. These horses on the outside, you're just trying to save a little ground going into the first turn.
No doubt, and one horse that should be able to save some ground, Chocolate Kisses. Mark Cassey saying earlier that it didn't matter where he broke from, but she's closer to the rail from there.
Yeah, I think it's a great post for Chocolate Kisses, especially with the plan to take back. I mean, you don't have to worry about trying to get over. You just kind of break, maybe take a hold, and then let everybody else kind of go.
So out for a spin from the rail, probably has to get that forward position. Jaywalk, you would think she's done her best running on the lead. She's probably going to go motion to motion, has speed, maybe a little bit rateable, but she's forward as well. Serengeti Empress in this post position number 13 scenario, like you said, should be able to set the options trip, but would be very surprised if the pace wasn't honest, probably borderline fast, and it could be really hot.
Yeah, and looking back at this again, too, out for a spin, doesn't need the lead. She can maybe get a nice ground-saving trip in there as well. Motion to motion is just has so much natural speed. You have to figure that she might be just faster than some of these others early on.
Right, and you've got Bella Fina, the likely favorite. She drew post position number 4 with a clean break from the gate with other horses going out in front of her. She might be sitting 4th, 5th early, but if things play out her way, the way we see this scenario playing out, and once the gates open, that scenario doesn't play out the way we think it is most of the time, but she should be able to sit in a perfect stalking position.
Yeah, and like you said, out of the gate, you just don't know. I mean, horses are going to maybe break slow. They have to deal with the crowd. So we talk about the pace scenarios. You just want to try to give your horse the best chance you can to win.
We saw that field of 14 with the 2 also eligibles for the 145th running of the Longines Kentucky Oaks. Looking very forward to Friday's entire draw. We will be racing Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, which is Thurby, leading up to Kentucky Oaks Friday and Kentucky Derby Saturday. Kentucky Derby will be drawn tomorrow at the same time, field of 20 for the Kentucky Derby with also eligibles as well. Looking at that Kentucky Oaks draw, you try to visualize it, you try to handicap it. Once they leave the starting gate, everything can change, but certainly an intriguing field to say the least.
Yeah, really intriguing field. I think Bella Fina the favorite. Like I said, no problem with the post. She's got tactical speed. She can be close or she can take back maybe if the pace is too hot.
That's the field for the Kentucky Oaks, and now we just have to come up with the morning line. Mike Battaglia is the one who does that, and let's send it up to him.
As we forward with the TwinSpires.com morning line odds for Friday's 145th Kentucky Oaks. Once again, it's on Friday, the 11th of 13 races, $1.25 million on the line. Last year's winner, Monomoy Girl, used the Kentucky Oaks to springboard a championship season. So big stuff happening in the Kentucky Oaks. Let's take a look at the TwinSpires.com morning line odds, starting from the rail out number 1, out for a spin, 15 to 1. Number 2, Chocolate Kisses, 20 to 1. Number 3, Lady Apple, 20 to 1. Bella Fina, number 4, will be the morning line favorite for the Kentucky Oaks at 2 to 1. Number 5, Fleur de la Mar, 20 to 1. Number 6, Positive Spirit, 30 to 1. Number 7, the Breeders' Cup winner, Jaywalk, 8 to 1. Number 8, Motion Emotion, 15 to 1. Number 9, Leora, 20 to 1. Number 10, Champagne Anyone, 6 to 1. Number 11, Jultrin, 15 to 1. Number 12, Street Band, 15 to 1. Number 13, Serengeti Empress, 8 to 1. Number 14, Restless Rider, 6 to 1. Moving to the AE list, once again, scratch time is Friday at 9 a.m. Should number 15, Dunbar Road, draw into the race, she'll be the second favorite on the morning line at 5 to 1. And number 16, Point of Honor, 30 to 1. So that's the field for Friday's 145th Kentucky Oaks. The morning line favorite, number 4, Bella Fina at 2 to 1, $1.25 million in the kitty for the Kentucky Oaks on Friday. 3-year-old fillies going a mile and an eighth. Don't forget to join us tomorrow at this time, and we'll draw the Kentucky Derby. Everybody enjoy the rest of your week here at Churchill Downs. We'll see you tomorrow, and we'll see you this weekend for the Oaks and the Derby. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a good day.
Well, thanks, Travis. And yes, the Kentucky Oaks field has been drawn. Travis reading those morning line odds on behalf of Mike Battaglia. We're going to take a look at the field with the morning line odds momentarily here. Dunbar Road on the also eligible list, the 5 to 1 second choice behind the 2 to 1 morning line favorite Bella Fina, 6 to 1 on Restless Rider. Brandon.
Yeah, once you get past Bella Fina, there's some juicy prices on this morning line. Take a look at a horse like Street Band, 15 to 1, Out for a Spin, 15 to 1. Jaywalk 8 to 1, it seems a little low to me, but this is all done by Mike Battaglia. He does a great job, been doing this for a long time, so trust his opinion. Motion 15 to 1. I mean, I'm kind of licking my chops over here at some of these prices, Joe.
Yeah, we'll have the full card drawn later today. We'll be able to dig into those past performances later today for the Oaks and the entire card as well. Ed DeRosa has some more guests coming up. Let's send it back over to him following today's draw. Ed?
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, Brandon's licking his chops. I'm eager to see if we get the Ian Wilkes smile in the paddock on Friday. But Ian, post 10 for Champagne Anyone, not too bad?
No, that's fine with me.
Yeah. Have you talked strategy with Chris yet in terms of this race? A little early to go through the whole field with him probably, but where are you hoping to see your filly throughout the race?
Yeah, that's no, I haven't talked to Chris yet about it. There's plenty of time. We've got a few more days of training and make sure we don't mess up or anything like that. And where she ends up, we're going to play the break. The filly, laid a little closer last time. It was slow pace. There's a lot of speed in the race. As Mark said earlier, sometimes you read all the speed and no one goes. So if they don't go, we can lay closer. If they go, we can lay back.
Yeah, and the outside post helps with that a little bit. Get a lay of the land, as you said, after you play the break. Been fortunate enough to be around a lot of good horses in your career, both your own and Carl Nafzger's, Street Sense being one of them. How is this filly like that Kentucky Derby winner?
This filly, it's just getting better. That's one thing about her, just like Street Sense was probably a little more precocious as a 2-year-old, which he showed it, and more racing. This filly's getting better and better with the training coming into this race has been spot on.
So you see her as even improving off that last win?
She has to. This is a good field. If she doesn't, we can't win.
Right.
So she has to improve, and I feel she has improved.
All right, yeah, absolutely a great field. A full field with 2 on the also eligibles. Best of luck, Ian.
Thanks, mate.
All right, thanks. Back to you, Joe.
Well, thanks, Ed, and thanks, Ian. And Champagne Eddie won the blinkers on. I mean, that kind of put her in the race a little bit earlier in her most recent start. I think it made a big difference. She should sit a stalking trip, as Ian mentioned, as we take a look at the post position draw for the Kentucky Oaks. And Bella Fina, again, the 2-1 morning line favorite, probably expecting a little bit shorter price on her. Who do you think is going to be the second choice?
It's going to be tough in here. I think Serengeti Empress, the fact that they entered and they're running here, I think she's going to take a lot of action. Restless Rider, I think just with her style, she's kind of hurt by that 14 post a little bit more so than Serengeti Empress. A lot easier to overcome 12, 13, 14 when you have the natural speed that Serengeti Empress does, Joe.
Yeah, I would agree. If Serengeti Empress brings her A game, and I have to make my selections tonight, she might be my top pick because I know if the real Serengeti Empress shows up, she could run with Bella Fina for sure. And we talk about the Breeders' Cup juvenile fillies. Bella Fina ran 4th. Serengeti Empress was up the track, but she was taken out of her style that day, had some trouble into the first turn. She wants to be on the lead. That's where she does her best running.
Yeah, she does, and you can see in her races and even in her works when she gets out there, she's just so relaxed. She has that natural cruising speed, which you like to see, and is always dangerous in these races. Like we talked about the break, you never know. Motion to motion breaks slow. Bella Fina breaks slow. Either one of those horses breaks slow. Serengeti Empress catches a flyer, and she's out there on an easy lead.
Right, it's going to be interesting again. A 1 1/8 distance. Obviously, may be a little bit taxing on some of these 3-year-old fillies as well. Looking very forward to seeing how it all plays out. And it's just a great card on Friday. Tremendous card on Saturday. They've got the all Grade 1 Pick 6 now. 2 races on Friday, including the Kentucky Oaks, and 4 Grade 1s on Saturday, all incorporated into 1 Pick 6 wager.
Yeah, this is one of those days of the year that if you're a wagering handicapper, wagering enthusiast, that you need to get involved. The pools are just so big. I mean, that's the thing. You get a couple of 5-to-1 shots across the board, and the pools are just so big, you're going to cash with a nice ticket.
We've got a couple of trainers standing by with Ed DeRosa. We're going to go to them momentarily. Dallas Stewart, Wayne Catalano, 2 gentlemen that know their way around the ladies, and I'm talking about the horses. Lemons Forever for Dallas Stewart, and Wayne Catalano winning a lot of greatest stake races with the female set as well. And we'll send it back to Ed DeRosa for what should be an entertaining interview. Ed?
All right, yeah, I'm alongside Wayne Catalano and Dallas Stewart, who have my birthday exacta 1-9. Wayne, you're in the 9. What do you feel about the post?
You know what? I like the 9 post. I think I won the Louisiana Derby in the 9 holes, and I think I won the Arkansas Derby out of the 9, so I kind of like it. I might have won a Breeders' Cup out of the 9 holes. I'm really liking the draw today.
All
But
right.
I do like my position.
Yeah, Dallas, you've won the Oaks out of the 14. Now you're on the rail. How do you feel about that for out for a spin?
I mean, listen, it's we got the 1 hole, so it's got to be a little tactical. So we got a good rider, Jose. Last time we was close to the lead, but that wasn't going to happen this time. So I'd rather be inside than outside with this filly.
All right, Wayne, how's the filly coming into the race? Is she ready for this test?
Yes, this is the best she's ever been right now. She's maturing in the right time. She's learned what the game's about now, and we really like the way she's doing.
All right, since I have the both of you together, can I get a head-to-head wager for you two? Some better finish?
I'll bet him a sack of crawfish.
What do you say, Wayne? Sack of crawfish?
I like shrimp, so we'll have a bald shrimp.
So you got
we're ball shrimp and crawfish.
There you go. Better finish wins 1-9 to Louisiana-based guys. Absolutely, both of you. No, appreciate your time and best of luck, guys. Who's going to be in front going into the backstretch?
We're going to put the 13 horse in front because he's way out there and he's going to be sending hard.
Okay.
No, we got him when we want him after that.
You heard the man.
All right, Serengeti Empress is who Wayne's calling on the front, and they have a head-to-head wager for crawfish. Joe, back to you.
I knew we'd get great information. I knew there would be great entertainment value in that interview as well, Brandon. And yes, Dallas Stewart likes his crawfish. You watch these guys at fairgrounds all winter. They definitely enjoy themselves. And, you know, it's nice to see that they're both loose. You know, the race is still several days away. They just want to enter these horses in the starting gate at this point.
Yeah, it's good to see Connections having a little fun out there. I mean, talk about the backside community. Everybody's a part of this game. They're all in it together. They see each other every morning. So, you know, why come up here and be tense? I mean, it's just nice to see. And I'd like to be a part of that, Boyle, as well. Love shrimp.
Yeah, crawfish, shrimp, definitely. I'd like to partake myself. Do you think out for a spin from the rail, Dallas? What did you take from that interview? He didn't really sound like he was too intent on sending.
No, he didn't, but nice little piece of information there that he said he'd rather be inside than outside. So maybe something to kind of upgrade this filly if you like her a little bit. Maybe she's got a little quirk where she likes to be on the inside a little bit. You know, I mean, she's trained well. Dallas, no stranger to winning this race. Up-and-coming filly. You know, it seems like he's not bothered by the rail.
It's taken months to get to this point, and just making it into the Kentucky Oaks starting gate is an accomplishment for any owner and any trainer. And it's a wrap on the draw. To get a final thought, let's send it over to Ed DeRosa. Ed?
Thanks, guys. Yeah, unfortunately, Bella Fina's connection's not here, so couldn't get an immediate reaction. But I agreed with what Brandon said. The 4-hole probably can't really be seen at all as a negative for the filly. 2-1 on the morning line. Expect her to be a touch lower than that, actually. But a very fair race from what I saw of the draw. Really no excuses based on where they'll be in the gate. Hopefully it's clean trips for all, and the best filly wins.
I would agree 100% with those sentiments. Ed, thanks for your contributions. And Brandon, we got Ed's final thought. How about yours?
Yeah, I thought the speed was drawn out pretty evenly throughout. None of the real speeds are next to each other. I like to see that. You know, Restless Rider, that's a tough post.
It is a tough post. He does have Jose Ortiz, though, which we didn't know who the rider was going to be until today. Yeah. Jose Ortiz also named on Dunbar Road, and I think that's maybe what they were waiting for, to see if Chad drew into the race, because I think the commitment was there originally for Jose Ortiz. My final thought is, yeah, it's going to be a fast-paced Kentucky Oaks, but we'll have to see how it plays out, and I think Serengeti Empress at 8-1 morning line odds might be the play for me. Those selections I'll have to make a little bit later on this evening. Well, that's going to wrap it up for the Kentucky Oaks draw. Same time, same place tomorrow, 10:45 in the morning, for the draw of the Kentucky Derby, brought to you by Woodford Reserve. Looking very forward to that. Hope to see you then.